Hi everyone, this is just a brief introduction and explanation of the framework for contemporary issues that we know that you're really going to enjoy. When you start this week with contemporary issues, what you'll notice is that all of the various week-long pieces of work are split into 4 parts. This is deliberate, as this is a type of learning framework that we decided that we would use to try and help you give some form and some direction to the work that you're doing over the course of each week. So when you start with reflection, the whole idea basically is that when you go in, as with every other week in contemporary issues, the first area of work is under the title Connect, and the idea really is that the area of work contained in that portion of the week is really just to get you to begin to make bridges, perhaps with past experiences that you've had, or past work that you might have done, as a way of linking what you already know and some of the ideas that you may already have about education into the work that you're going to be doing over that week. So it's really just sort of a stimulus to get you going. And as with all sections in all weeks, what you'll find is the first piece of information under each of the headings that you're going to use will have a suggested study time. Try to stick to that as much as possible, so obviously you don't overload yourself. It's really to try and give you some notion of just how much we might be expecting, but certainly we don't want you to go over the amount of time we're suggesting for each part. So once you've gone through the connection element each week, there's then an activate element, and this is really meant to be an area of work to begin to get you thinking about something, or to begin to motivate you to learn more, really just to sort of start giving you some of the basics, perhaps some of the information that you'll be manipulating during that week. Once you've done the work on that, there's then a demonstrate section, and this is where we've tended to try and put activities or pieces of work that are about you playing with ideas or trying to apply ideas. In a number of cases within contemporary issues, we've asked people to go and do a little bit of work within their own workplace context, for example, to begin to apply some of the ideas that you've come across in the Connect and Activate sections. And then finally, towards the end of the week, there's always a consolidate element. And that is really just to sort of try and round things off, try and see how much you believe you've learned, see where you are in your learning within that particular focus for that week. So all of the week-long sessions throughout contemporary issues are set within this particular framework. And as I said right at the start, this is really just to try and give you some direction and try to create a coherent work package for you each week, where you feel that there's a clear framework and that is allowing you to make good progress. Also, just so that you're at issues just as you start, over the next 3 weeks you'll all be doing a core unit, and the idea with the core unit is to introduce what we feel are some absolutely core key ideas that can then be the basis for many other areas of work. So this week, week 1 is looking at reflective practice, and also looking at sort of giving you some frameworks and ideas about how to read academic literature for those of you who feel that that would be beneficial. Before then going on week 2 to look at learning, and within that week, as is laid out within that week, 20% of the formal assessment for this particular module will be done during that week, working with a partner to look at your collaborative working. And then the 3rd week is based around issues of teaching within a wide series of contexts. Once you get to the end of that 3 weeks, you've completed the core unit. There's then going to be a reflection week, and that reflection week is really to give you a bit of time, bit of breathing space, first of all to finish off your collaborative piece of assignment work from week 2, but also just to give you some time to catch your breath, see where you are, and to give you a bit of time to make the final decision as to which units you'd like to do in the rest of this particular module. There's a number to choose from, including informal learning, including inclusion, innovation, technology, etc. They're all laid out within the contemporary issues area. And the idea is, beyond reflection week, the first thing you'll do is elect to do one of the units. And for the first 2 weeks after the reflection week, you'll do what we're calling the foundation level of that unit. So week 1 and week 2. And then you'll go on to do an extra week with that particular unit, which is the higher level, which is obviously just taking ideas on a bit further. Then once you've been through that 3 weeks, you've completed your first elective unit, and then you go directly on to a second elective unit, but in that case you're only covering it to foundation level. It's almost like a subsidiary unit. So it might be, for example, that if you're working in informal education, but you're actually taking responsibility for not only learning and teaching with a group of people, but also in the position of having to manage colleagues, you might decide that you're going to do as your first elective unit informal learning, which lasts for 3 weeks, and then you go on to do 2 weeks on leadership. Alternatively, you might be very much interested in inclusion and how that might fit within a school curriculum. And in that case, you might decide to do as your first elective unit inclusion for 3 weeks, and then go on and do the foundation, the first 2 weeks of the unit on curriculum and assessment. There is nothing to stop you going and spending a bit of time looking at some of the other materials from the other units. It's just that you're not necessarily doing them formally. Obviously, when you get to towards the end of your second elective unit, the shorter one, that's when you'll need to start thinking about and reflecting on what it is you'd actually like to do your assignment on, what kind of topic, what kind of area to do a 4,000 word written assignment on. And obviously there'll be more materials and help for you in a few weeks' time when you're heading towards that direction to help you make choices and also to give you some extra support. And obviously that'll also come through the medium of work with your tutors. So that's just to give you a very clear introduction, just so you know how the structure works. If you now click on the link to the Contemporary Issues units, then obviously you'll be able to see both all of the elective units and the core unit and reflective week, and obviously you can get started with the work. We hope you enjoy it. We've had fun designing it and putting it online. And obviously we'll have a lot of interaction with you over the coming weeks. See you later.